just very honored and grateful that are going to spend some time with us today. Like Jeff said, we know you don't have to do this, and so thank you so much for jumping on and sharing. And I'm excited to listen to you myself. So, guys, let me just share a little bit about John's bio here, and then I'm going to turn it over to him so we can get the most value from him and all his amazing knowledge. So John has actually coached and trained over 14,000 agents. His conversion rate for his agents is 33% from appointment set after post training. And today we're going to be talking a lot about how to convert leads, but he's got some other things up his sleeve as well. And his coaching clients have exceeded $30 million in gross commission each year. And he's a keynote speaker. He's been on a lot of amazing stages with Tony Robbins, with Eric Thomas, with Ed Milet. If you guys know who those are, they're all just amazing people that I follow pretty regularly. And then he also hosts a podcast. So listen to the podcast. Remind me what the name is. Real and Raw. Is
The
that
Real
correct?
and Raw Show with John Marone. Yes.
The Real and Raw Show with John Marone. So tune into that if you are a podcast listener, and a lot of great value. So, John, again, thank you so much, and I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate the intro. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. Super excited to be here, right? Jeff said, I don't have to be here, but one thing I've understood is that I get to be here, right? And so because of that opportunity, I want to make sure that I give you guys everything I got. And hopefully when you guys leave today, you have not just some motivation and inspiration, but really the tools and tactics to go ahead and finish the job, right? Because motivation only gets us so far. And that's my goal for you guys today. As Kathy said, I've been honored to be able to stand on stages with literally the best in the world. The Robert Kiyosaki's, as you said, Trent Shelton's, Eric Thomas, all of them. But the biggest thing that to me I'm most proud of is the things I overcame in my life, right? From addiction and jail and being homeless, no identity, to living a beautiful life here in Destin, Florida, Santa Rosa Beach, Florida. And we'll tap into a little bit of things on how I overcame them because obviously, I know some of us are going through a storm in our life, and maybe it's in business, maybe it's in health, maybe it's in relationship. But that's my goal for you guys today. And I'm going to make sure that whatever I give you is proven to work. Now, she said 14,000 agents. I didn't update it. It's about 17,000 agents now. So I need to update that. So thank you for the reminder. And so everything we give you is proven to work, right? Proven to work. But there's a word in there that matters, and that is work. And that is work. And we're going to talk about that today. As she said before, and as Jeff said, please get on camera if you can. Super appreciative if you guys could do that for me. You're in the shower, stuff like that. Thank you for jumping on, but you don't need to be on camera. But everybody else, if you can get on camera, I massively, massively appreciate that. So let's dive in. So I want to jam on the 6 points, right, of conversion, lead conversion. Now, I know some of you guys might be using a lot of funnels to get your lead. Some of you guys might have other ways you're generating leads online, more open houses for some of you, SOI for some of you. What I will say is everything we're going to go over today is very much concept related to any type of lead source, and also any time frame lead source. What I mean by that is whether the lead has, been in your system for a year, right, or a minute. All these concepts will absolutely work for those leads that we're talking about. So let's dive in, and by all means, any questions that come in, fire away. This is a very much of a engagement type of call. When I do our coaching at Real Estate Mastery Coaching, we call it coactive coaching. Most coaches, they like to speak, they like to educate, which is awesome. But then all of a sudden, Chrissy gets the information, and then maybe she's got kids who come knocking on the door, and then someone calls her, and then this happens, that happens. She never gets to actually do the work on the call, so she loses that juice. So I would love for you guys to participate as much as you guys can, as much as you guys want. So let's dive right in, and we're going to talk about the lead conversion 6 point process. I'm going to ask to get my the host, or I can share my screen. I'm going to give you guys some slides here as well. And as we go through these slides, I will make sure that if you guys want these slides, I'll give you my email and everything. You guys could email me and I'll make sure you guys get them. Okay. As we stated, I own a coaching company called Real Estate Mastery Coaching. We coach everything on sales, social media, structure, and self mastery. But I also own Emerald Coast Real Estate Experts. So I'm an agent just like you, have a team, and we are doing this just like we're teaching it. So it's not just we're here coaching, we're actually doing it as well. So here's our 6 point lead conversion system. But my first question to everybody on here, when you look at this picture here that you see, I want to know in the chat, what do these guys and these girls all have in common? I'm curious to know in the chat. Blow up the chat. Let's see. What do you think all these guys and these girls all have in common? There's no wrong answer. I would just want to kind of see where you guys head at. Melanie says hard work, right? We got winners. We got celebrating wins. We got driven. We got coaching. Yep. What else? What else? What else we got in here? We got dedication, honor their craft. Well, there we go. Brett's onto something here. Awesome. They're pros. Absolutely. And all these things are true, right? Surprised nobody put money because they got a lot of it. All right. But they're all true. And what I've noticed in real estate is that a lot of us aren't prepared for the opportunity. We're just not prepared for the opportunity. So on my podcast, I had a guy named Heath Evans on. Heath Evans played for Auburn University. He got drafted as a fullback in the third round, which is not heard of. And he played for the Patriots and he played for the Saints. So he had the honor of playing with Tom Brady, the GOAT, right? That dude has 15,000 championships. But before he had those championships, nobody understood Tom Brady's method, right? He was an okay quarterback there in Michigan. But when he comes to the Patriots, he doesn't have the best team, right? He wasn't drafted high. I think it was the sixth round. And so when I asked Heath, hey, how does Tom Brady get all those trophies? How did he become the GOAT? And he simply said, he is obsessed with practicing. He's obsessed with practicing. He takes it as an honorable thing that he needs to be doing, right? So when he looks at it, he says, if I'm going to show up in the game, I need to show up in practice as if it's the game. And I think some of us are walking around like it's preseason, not like it's championship game. And Tom's always walking around in practice like it's a championship game. So I'm just curious to know, right? No matter what it is, Jordan too, absolutely. So no matter what it is, whether it's, having conversations at open houses, whether it's having conversations with SOI or it's online lead generation, I'm curious to know how many days a week do you guys practice this before you get into the actual game? Drop how many days? 0 to 7. I'm just curious so I can get a poll here of where everybody's at with this. And this is all, by the way, this is not to say, oh my God, you're not doing it right. This is simply saying that if we want change, we have to confront things, right? We have to confront things if we want change. We got 3 to 5, 3, 2. I love it. So whether you're doing 0 days or you're doing 3 to 5 days, we want to make sure we're doing it right as well. Because there's practicing and then there's practicing the right way. I have a son named Brixton and I have a daughter named Aria, right? Two miracle babies, told going to have kids for 7 years, three different doctors, and we're able to beat those odds. And I want you to think if you have kids or maybe down the line when you have kids, if your son, right? I'm going to say Brixton. Let's use my son's name. If he wanted to become a champion in the NFL. He wanted to play in the NFL, but let's say he's in high school right now. Little man's only 4, right? Just had his birthday. But let's say he wants to go ahead and do that, but he's in high school at the time. What do we tell our kids to do to be the best at whatever it is that they want to be the best at? Right? What do we tell them? Right? You could drop it in the chat. We tell them practice. Yeah, you got to practice. You got to practice. So he practices, gets himself into a D1 school. Hopefully, my Florida Gators, that will be his Florida Gators, or insert your school there, right? Indiana, right? They need another Mendoza over there. And he gets himself into the school of his choice with a little bit of a nudge. And all of a sudden, he's there and he says, all right, Dad, I'm here. What do I do? We tell that kid to what? Practice, practice. He practices, he gets himself drafted to nobody throw anything at me virtually, but to the Dallas Cowboys, hopefully on my end. Okay. He gets himself drafted to whatever team, is fitting. And he's there. What do we tell that kid to do? Practice, practice. Now, here's something I want to tell you guys that if you only leave with this today, if you only leave with this, your life can change. And as we continually ask our children to hold themselves to a standard, that to be the best at something, you have to practice. You have to master it. Yet mom and dad right now are not doing that for their own business. So how can we ask our children to hold themselves to a standard that we're not willing to do for ourselves? And I think about that because a lot of us simply, as I said before, just aren't prepared for that client when I walk into the open house, for that person when they go ahead and fill out that information and come in from a funnel. We are just not prepared. We are not good enough. And we have to own that. We are not good enough. And we have the opportunity to get good enough. We have the opportunity to master our craft. And so, if anything you take from today's call, say, hey, I want to raise my standard to raise my results. Write that down. Raise my standards to raise my results. We are really good at lying to ourselves, at making these excuses, and then believing them. And it's a loop, and it's a loop, and it's a loop, right? Then there's guilt and there's shame that sits in there. So, I want us all to understand that in order to increase our pay, step one is to increase your role play. In order to increase your pay, increase your role play. And that could be anything, once again, from objection handling. That could be, people walking into an open house. How many people do open houses in here? Drop a me if you're doing open houses right now. I'm just curious. Me. By the way, if you don't have any leads coming in, what a great way to go ahead and get some leads by asking somebody in your network, hey, I would love to do an open house for you. All right. I would love to do an open house. I just had this call yesterday with our coaching clients. We got a challenge called the 75 shift. It's happening as of today. It starts. And I got some clients that have 15, 20,000 leads. I got some clients that have 15 or 20 leads. And we have a dialing mark, right? We got to hit a certain amount of dials a day. And I tell everybody, it's not the lack of leads, it's the lack of effort to get the leads. Because there are doors in your neighborhood that you haven't knocked yet. But I don't want to knock, then don't complain that you don't have the money. There are people that need somebody for open houses. But I don't want to go to an open house. They don't complain that you can't pay that bill. Right? So we have opportunity. We have opportunity, but we got to be prepared for it. We have to be prepared for it. If we're open houses, well, I'm going to give you a quick tip. A lot of us, when we do open houses, you know, we have people come in. Some are neighbors, right? Some are just kind of curious people looking, and I get that. But there is an amazing opportunity to set an appointment from the open house. Does anybody in here set an actual day and time of appointments with the people in your open house? Yes or no? I just want to see where you guys are at with that because this is a big opportunity for a lot of us, right? We have people come in and we get them all written down on a piece of paper, and then all of a sudden it's, oh my gosh, I got to call them. I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know how I'm going to say. I don't know when I should call them. And sometimes we never call them. A simple way to do it is simply every single time someone comes to an open house, have the conversation, dig deep as we'll talk about today. But the big piece is I'm always saying, hey, look, what do you think about the property? Look, you said you want a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. The great news is there's a few others that I think really might hit the mark for you. I would love to be able to send them over to you. Can I do that? Yeah, absolutely. Great. What's the best email for you? I'll send them over. I'm not going to look at the sheet because they might have scrabbled something on there that doesn't make sense. What's the best email for it? johnmarone@gmail.com. Okay, great. I'll send that over to you. The last thing I want to do is there's also some off-market properties that might make sense. But I want to make sure we're kind of barking up the right tree, right? I want to make sure that we're looking at the right thing. So how does Tuesday afternoon look for a quick little follow-up call to make sure what we sent makes sense for you and I can continue looking for some properties? Does that work for you? Yeah, that works. Right? So making sure we ask that exact question in that frame, it'll guarantee you a much higher success rate than just saying, okay, I'll call you Tuesday. I'll call you this week, right? We got to get more specific with our ask. Step two, okay, we have to win the game before it starts. We have to win the game before it starts. I notice a lot of agents, they got their call time on there. They might, have obviously their open house, whatever it might be, and they're not walking into that properly. They just read an email about something negative, right? They went ahead and a deal fell through. Something happened and they're not ready to make these dials. And look, it happens to me too sometimes. I got to put myself in check sometimes. But here are the W's, right? The 5 W's to win the game before it starts. So we're going to go over these pretty quickly, but I want to make sure we understand this is what we should be doing before our dialing session, before we go into an open house, before we have the opportunities in front of us. So first thing is we have to understand what the goal is. Now that seems simple, right? But who here actually writes down the goal of every call session, of every open house, right? Of course, the goal at open house is like, let's get somebody to buy the house. But is our goals to get clients? Do you have an exact number? Yes or no? Are you putting down exact goals before you make your dials, before you jump into the open house, before you go out and network? Is there an actual goal that is tangible? Yes or no? Just curious. Drop it to the chat. Drop it to the chat. And the reason why this is important, guys, okay, the reason why this is important, let me get a little nerdy with you, okay? Has anybody bought a new car here recently? And if you did, drop the type of car. If you bought a new car in the last 12 months, drop the type of car that you bought in the last 12 months. Let's see, let's see. Oh, Caddy got a Caddy. Nice, we got a RAV4. All right, so we'll use Kathy's Caddy. She's the first one to put in there, okay? So think about when you guys bought your new vehicle, okay? When you bought that vehicle or during the process, did you see more or less of those cars on the road? Answers, we see more. Was it all of a sudden like, man, Kathy's over there in Nashville. Everybody wants to be like Kathy, so we're all going to buy Caddies, right? That might be the name of it for some people. But the truth of the matter is, let's get nerdy here. We have a piece of our brain, okay? And a piece of our brain, it's called the reticular activating system, RAS. And what this allows your brain to do, it allows a switch to go on that says, what I focus on expands. What I focus on expands. I'll see more of it. I'll see more of it. And it wasn't like more people were driving the cars out of nowhere. They were always there. You just flipped that switch on in your brain to be aware of them because it was something you wanted, right? So with our sales goals, if we don't set an actual goal, the brain doesn't know what we want. Therefore, the brain doesn't understand how to ask better questions to get the result we want. So when it says, hey, I'm going to set 2 appointments, I need to set 2 appointments, I need to set 2 appointments. I want one qualified buyer lead out of this open house. One qualified buyer lead. Your brain will start asking the questions that align with the need. Does that make sense, guys? Drop a yes if that makes sense. And it's simply a part of our brain, right? It's literally a part of our brain. And so many times we don't use it in the right frame. We do it for some things, right? For some things, we're going to do it unintentionally. Imagine what you can do if you intentionally activated a switch of the RAS before making calls before the open house. Okay. Next is the why. Now, I'm a big believer in a deep-rooted why and going ahead and thinking long term. But truth of the matter is, that's not what's going to take you to take action today. It's not. It might today, but maybe not tomorrow. And the reason why is because it's too far out. That's a 5-year plan. I got time. I got time. So what I love to do is I work my year off of 12-week goals. Okay. So I take the 12-month goal and I break them down into quarterly. A great book, by the way, is called The 12-Week Year. If you guys want to pick it up, it's a great book. But essentially, you're just taking your 12-month goals and breaking them down into 12 weeks. And when we do this, all of a sudden, our goal, right, is our 12-week goal, let's say, to make $100,000. What's the why behind it? I got this debt that's really been, hurting my soul that I can't even get sleep at night because I got $50,000 in debt and I can't think about it because I got 20% interest on it. What is the reason for it? What's the reason why? I'm no longer relying on mood, but I'm relying on meaning. I'm going to say it again. Stop relying on mood to take action and find meaning to take action. And if you have a meaning that is closer that you could touch, you'll collapse the time to get there. I mean, think about it when we got to do housework or anything, right? All of a sudden, we got, let's say, 7 days to do it. Most people, not all people, most people wait until the last day. Wait until the last day, right? And it's the same framework, right? If I can collapse time from my why to where I'm at, I can take more urgent action off of meaning, not off of mood. Okay, sales journal. This is the where. We need to understand what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong in these actions. After every open house, I want you to write down, hey, this is where I won. I did really well here. This is where I missed, and this is what I'm going to fix. Right? After a dialing session, this is where I won. This is where I miss. This is how I'll fix. So write those three words down. Win, miss, fix. This is where I won. Okay, I did really good here. But this is where I missed. My energy was low. I forgot to ask for the appointment. I stumbled over an objection. And this is how I'm going to fix it. I'm going to fix it by doing 10 minutes of role play every single day. I'm going to fix it by getting more knowledge about this market. I'm going to fix it by asking this person about how to attack this objection. Okay? We got to audit what we are doing. Self-awareness is the number one trait of the most successful people in the world. I've interviewed many of them. I've had an amazing opportunity to interview the greats of the greats, right? People that are industry leaders in many different industries. And the correlation of self-awareness cannot be ignored. And so, what my favorite saying is self-awareness is the starting point for growth and a checkpoint for progress. We got to check in more with ourselves. We got to check in more with what we did right, what we did wrong, right? We got to then create the fix from there. Next is wow, state, energy. I'm a big believer that energy is contagious. And I'm a big believer also energy creates engagement. But when we're doing our sales calls, when we're talking to people, we need to have better energy. So whatever it takes to get your energy up, it could be listening to a Brandon Lake song. It could be listening to Big Booty mixes. It could be praying. It could be meditating. It could be getting grounded. It could be listening to heavy metal, right? It could be anything. Figure out what works for you to get you at the level of energy. Now, here's the thing about energy. Energy is not always volume. It's tonality. Think about the best storytellers, right? The best storytellers aren't yelling the whole time. They have a flow. And you're just on the edge of your seat. We're like, oh, what's happening next? What's happening next? Right? And you want to engage in it. So it's not just about volume. That helps. But it's being so present in a conversation with great energy to be able to have tonality that changes the game. And by the way, tonality happens when you stand up because it comes from your diaphragm, right? Comes from your diaphragm. So just know if you're making calls, let's stand up. Last but not least, winning confidence. Confidence comes from being prepared, right? The role playing, but also kind of side note, I think the biggest confidence comes from keeping the small promises to yourself, right? I think that honestly is real confidence. And when you have that confidence, we're like, hey, I follow through what I say I'm going to do. Many of us say we're men or women of our word. Hey, if I say I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there. Hey, if I said I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. But the problem is we tend to do that for other people, but we lack it in our own self-love and our own self-action. Hey, I said I was going to wake up at 5 to go to the gym. Are you doing it? Hey, I said I was going to say no to the cookies and say yes to the strawberries. But are you doing it? Hey, I said I was going to make my 30 calls a day, but are you doing it? Don't call yourself a person of your word until you can keep it to yourself. Now, this is a battle because circumstances obviously come into play, but real confidence comes from you keep your word to yourself. Step three is stop stepping on landmines. Okay. Let's think if we were all out to war. And I said, all right, guys, come here, come here. Hey, we're behind this bunker. We got to go over there. But now there are landmines all over here. And I know where they are. They're here, they're here, they're here, they're here. Okay. Who here is like, cool, John, I'm going to go step on them? Nobody. We're like, nah, I'm totally avoiding all those landmines because I want to get over there. But in our sales calls, in our sales conversations, we continually step on landmines. And I'm going to give you these landmines right now and what we found after training the 17,000 agents on where these landmines are. Okay. Now, some of this is going to go against your DNA, what you're used to doing. Now, this is for leads that you haven't talked to, mind you, right? If, Craig and I have already had conversations, things like that, different story. But these are people that you have not talked to. First thing is stop saying, how are you doing? Stop saying, how are you doing? Here's the reason why. We say, how are you doing? There's a 50-50 chance that landmine is going to blow up. Oh, I'm really busy right now. Oh, I'm at work right now. Oh, I'm stuck in traffic right now. How you doing is a question that is a higher chance of a landmine than it is opening things up. Okay. Next is do not introduce yourself with your company brokerage name. Let's play this scenario out. When you guys went to go buy that car you talked about and you walked on the lot and that salesman came walking up to you, suited and booted. Hey, anything I can do to help you? What's your normal response? Drop it in the chat. And they say, anything I can do to help you. What do you normally say? You went to the car lot to go look at cars. You normally say, Melanie says, nah, I'm good. Right? Yeah, I'm good. I'm just looking. I'm just looking. Thank you. But you know, Kathy, you went there to look at caddies. You had a high interest in looking at caddies, right? Why did we say that? Why did all you say that? Because you're human. And humans have a fear of being sold. But man, do we love to buy. We have a fear of being sold, but we love to buy. It's just human nature. So when someone asks you a question and it seems like they're going to try to sell you something, our immediate reaction is on a defense. It's on a defense. So when you say your company broker's name, all they hear is sales, sales. And if we're coming out with that, is the response going to be good or bad? Right? They're going to do exactly what you said. I'm just looking. Nope. I just clicked on the link and it brought me there. I didn't know you were going to call me. Right? Walk into an open house. Oh, no, I'm just looking. I'm looking for anything serious. You know how many people I've turned into clients who walked in and said, I'm not looking for anything serious. I was just kind of poking in here. I would say 90% of my clients, that's how it happens. Not many times where I'm like, yep, I'm looking for something and I want this. Not many times. It happens. But the other side is a lot heavier. Okay. Next is do not have a long introduction when you call. Okay. Hey, this is John, with eXp Realty, just giving you a call. I saw you taking a look at 123 Main Street. Want to see if there's anything I can do to help you. Right? We want to keep it short and sweet. And don't worry, I'll give you the opening line here in a second. Do not say their name. This goes against a lot of rules that sales gurus tell you. But here's the method behind it. When we say, "Hey Vince," and he thinks it's a sales call, do you think Vince is going to be like, "Yeah, this is me," or is there a chance that he's like, "This isn't Vince. Vince isn't here right now." Right? I don't want that opportunity. So we don't say their name in the beginning of the call. But people love to hear their name, John. They do. From people they know, they like, and they trust. I don't want to break it to you, but I'm gonna. They don't know, like, and trust you just yet because you just met them. Okay? So we don't want to say their name. Next, if it is a online lead, let's get rid of the I saw you registered and signed up. Because when we use that phrase, and by the way, we didn't know this was a problem till about 2 years into the coaching. So kind of give you a concept, I go on the road every single month and I train people live on conversion. So every single month, like I'll be in Atlanta in 2 weeks, right? Every single month we go and we're live and we train people. And then after 8 hours of training, we pick up the phone and we make calls and we do an hour of power, right? It's our power hour. And we make calls. And then hey, what are your numbers? Let's talk about it. So backtrack, I've done that for about 8 years now. 2 years into it, we used to have, I saw you register and signed up in our scripting, in our framework. And I realized a lot of people were saying, I didn't sign up for anything. I didn't register for anything. Yeah, I signed up, but I didn't want to talk to anybody. Right? So we do not want to have that on there as a landmine. Last but not least, do not assume, right? Do not come in and make an assumption off of a lead. What I mean is simply sometimes we'll see something and let's just say it's an online lead or anything at all with funnel lead, it doesn't make a difference. SOI, we assume we know their situation. We assume we know their situation. What I'll tell you is that I'm sure you would agree with this. Most of the deals I've closed, the whys never changed, but the whats have. The price point did. Right? A lot of things can change, but I just don't want to go in assuming a lead because what happens to us mentally is we don't attack it the same way as if we knew there was a $5 million lead. All right? We have to act as if everybody's a $5 million lead. All right. Next is step 4. Have an opening line that opens them up. Have an opening line that opens them up. So here's the opening line that we have used in the last 8 years. Small tweaks here and there, and it works very, very well. And I'm going to help you tweak this to whatever circumstance you have on what they came in off of. Okay. So if it's online lead generation, right, we're going to say, let me just set it away. Hey, this is John with the home search site. I noticed you were looking over in Destin at some homes. Just curious, are you looking to make a move in the next few months or are you just browsing? Okay. If this is coming on online off of a home search site, or if this is a funnel, right? You're going to go ahead and reference that funnel, right? Or if it's someone that came in off of a Facebook post, right? Whatever it might be, we're going to use the same thing, okay? But hear how I do it because that's what matters most. So, hey, this is John with the home search site. First off, we say home search site in our world because they're on Zillow, they're on homes.com, they're on your website, they're on all these. I don't want to pigeonhole us into them saying, oh, I'm not on that one. I noticed you're looking over in Destin. Make it familiar if you know what city they're looking in or just area they're looking in. Okay, at some homes. By the way, homes are for buyers, houses are for sellers. The reason why is homes brings in emotion and seller takes the houses take an emotion out. So we want the emotion out from a seller. So we say houses, want the emotion in from a buyer. So we say homes. Just curious, looking to make a move in the next few months or just browsing. Now, everybody on here, when I say when a salesman comes up to you, what do you say? You guys say just looking, right? Here's the cool part. What if they said, hey, so you take a look over here at a caddy. Are you looking to buy some next few months or are you just over here looking? Your response to just looking would be a little bit lighter. Wouldn't feel as heavy. Wouldn't be as resistant. Ah, yeah, man, I'm just looking right now, right? If they gave you the out immediately, your wall starts to come down a little bit. And that's what we do here. But it sounds like this. Hey, this is John with the home search site. I noticed you're looking at some homes over in Destin. So just curious, were you looking to make a move in the next few months or were you just browsing on there? Oh, I'm just browsing. We say, great. Look, that's exactly what the site is for. Hey, well, while I got you, what's prompting you to browse? Okay. But here the way I said that, I'm going to break this down again for open houses. If you guys want me to do it for a different funnel or a different type of lead generation, please pop this in here. Okay. But when I say, hey, great, look, that's exactly what the site's for. Right. Hey, while I got you, what's prompting you to browse? So the tonality is called the curiosity tonality. I don't say, hey, while I have you, what's prompting you to browse? I say, hey, great, this is exactly what the site's for. Hey, well, I got you. What's prompting you to browse? Do you guys see how casual that is? See how curious that is? But yet it's so confident. So the three C's I want you guys to work on: be more curious, be more confident, but also be more casual. Because if I said, great, exactly what the site is for, while I have you, what's prompting you to browse? That's me reading it. And that's what some of us do because we don't master it. But when you master it, it sounds like, great, look, that's exactly what the site is for. Hey, well, I got you. What's prompting you to browse? Open houses, same thing. Hey, welcome to the open house. Go ahead, put your name and information down, blah, blah, blah. Hey, while you're doing that, I'm just curious, are you looking to make a move in the next few months, or are you just kind of looking around and browsing? Oh, we're just browsing right now. Oh, that's awesome. That's what these open houses are for. So tell me a little bit, what's prompting you to browse around? Do you see that opening line in an open house now? There doesn't need to be an awkward type of pause. Doesn't need to be an awkward meeting in the first time. It's very simple. You use the same exact thing, but just put the few small changes I just said for an open house. Any questions on this opening line? Any questions on this opening line? I want to make sure that we take care of you guys today and answer any questions that you might have. What do you guys think about this opening line? Pretty easy, right? Pretty straightforward, right? I'm telling you right now, this gets us from contact to appointment set 33%. The national average, guys, is
Yeah,
less than
I
5%.
I have a question.
Go for it, Joseph.
Yeah, you said that we shouldn't use the names of our companies, but on your first line it says this is John with the home search site.
Yep. So my company is Emerald Coast Real Estate Experts, right? Home search site is where they're at. So that's the website, right? If it's obviously an open house, right? Hey, welcome to the open house, right? Whatever it might be. But this is not my this is not my name of my company. This is referencing where they came in from, which was the home search site, aka my website. But I don't want to say my website, and I don't want to say my brokerage name because that'll go ahead and pigeonhole me into a landmine. Hopefully that makes sense, Joseph. David, you have a question, brother? And I see a hand raised. If you do, you can unmute yourself.
Hi, yes. How do you? I'm just signed up for Craxy, a commercial website where all my where I can go to the website and see people browsing or looking at my listing or download stuff. So, what would you recommend for me to follow up? How would you say that? Do I mention Craxy website when I call them,
Yep.
or
So it's the same thing here, man. Commercial or non-commercial, it's the same thing. Hey, I started taking a look instead of home because it's commercial, right?
Mhm,
I started taking a look at the property website,
mhm.
right? So
Okay.
you just use instead of home, you can say property in there, right? Because that's obviously depending on what they're looking at, it can vary. They could be looking at lots for commercial building, they could be looking at actual buildings, they could be looking at, soon come like there's so many different ways. So just wrap it into property search site,
Okay.
right? And then and roll right from there. Great question now.
Yeah, I like how you're doing it. It's more ease and it's more general because they don't know who we are and we don't know who they are yet. And
Yeah.
make it casual. It's not like more personal that they don't even know who we are yet. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Absolutely. Great questions. Great questions. All right. So now we're going to go to the next piece here, which is step five, dig three whys deep where possible. So a lot of agents, and I say this with respect with because I was one, are Applebee's servers, glorified Applebee's servers. Hey, how many bedrooms? Three. How many bath? Two. What location? Destin. But the truth of the matter is that that's not what's going to get us a deal nowadays. Maybe in 2021, right? Because the faster we can get them in front of us, the faster I can get a contract in, the better off we are. But you probably are aware we're not in 2021 anymore, right? That is not the case. 2021, yes, we don't need to dig into the whys because it's go 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 go. We had too many leads, right? And fighting offers was our biggest problem. So the digging why is so important. It's so important because the real reason why people make decisions are pain or pleasure. That's it. Pain or pleasure. When you make a big decision, it's because of pain or pleasure. Think about the big decisions you make, right? Pain or pleasure, right? Man, I wanted to go ahead and get a car because my car kept breaking down and the pain of that, right? Or man, I want to get a new car because I love this new caddy and it's got the third row and it has this new thing and that new thing and my caddy's got the old stuff, right? Either way you look at it, pain or pleasure, it's up to us to facilitate the right questions to dive deep into the pain or pleasure. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into this. We're in limited time, but I will say that when you ask questions that are A/B questions, it can get them to open up, right? And it would sound something like this, and I'll just do it quickly for you guys. Hey, what's prompting you to browse? We're looking to go ahead and get into a bigger space, right? Now, here's the lead flow, the conversation flow. The what question was, what had you browsing? He then or she then said, oh, well, I'm looking into a bigger space. Now, instead of moving from that, I want to write it down, stay in the pocket. Stay in the pocket. Okay, I love it. Bigger space. What do you mean by bigger space? Well, we're in a two bedroom now and we need a four bedroom, and we're just really crammed over here. Most agents at that point will take that and then go to another what question. Not us. Listen to understand, not to respond. Listen to understand, not to respond. Extract information and build a conversation. So they said, looking to get a four bedrooms. I'm in a two bedroom right now. We're really crammed over here. Okay, love it. So go from a two bedroom to a four bedroom. Tell me a little bit more about why the jump from two to four. Oh, we have two kids, got another one on the way. So we're just getting really crowded over here, and this was a starter home, so we're ready to go ahead and move on up. I don't leave yet. That's awesome. You got two kids and one on the way. How old are your two little ones right now? Oh, they're 8 and 4. That's excellent, man. And when's the baby due? The baby's due in June. I love that. Okay, so 8, 4, baby's due in June. Boys or girls? I'm just curious. Oh, we got two boys and a girl on the way. Man, okay, that is awesome. So right now, two bedrooms. Are they bunking in a room currently? Yeah, right now they are. All right. So getting four bedrooms, what would that do for you guys to be able to get the extra space in there? Man, it'd be incredible because then we could have their own space as they get older. They're obviously outgrowing a bunk bed with each other, so be able to get their own space and a little more independence. What am I looking for? This right here, emotion creates motion. Emotion creates motion. Why is this important? If you're had a buyer or a seller that you're trying to get to take some action and they just won't, do you truly know their emotion? Do you truly know their why? Not the surface why. The first why is always a lie. Some of you say, yeah, they're in a two-bedroom, they want a four-bedroom. That's their why. No, it goes deeper than that. I need the emotion out of it. They're crammed over there. That's the why. Okay, that's the pain. What's the pleasure? So they'll be able to create space and have independency for their kids and not be on top of each other, causing chaos all the time. There we go. We're getting there. Right now, I could speak to that person with the emotion and not some surface level why, and they'll take better action. So the whole point of this conversation flow, guys, is I want to get to the emotion that creates motion. Now, some of you say, well, not everybody is going to have emotion. Maybe not as deep of an emotion, but I'm in a big investor market, right? We have a lot of investors and we dig into the emotion of the investors. I love it. So investing, is this your first one or do you have others? My first one. Beautiful. So why'd you decide to kind of go with this area and start real estate investing, down here? Well, we love it down there and I bring my kids down there or my kids are young and I really want to start a portfolio for them, right? Like the only time I don't find too much why is when a guy has a ton of investments and they're just agent shopping. And that's fine because you know what that dude wants? He wants numbers. And guess what? Behind numbers, what is there? A why. I'm finding it one way or another. It might not be as heart pulling, right? It might be more numbers wise, but then I know. Then I know I can be straight up and get him the facts and not worry about the feelings. Okay? Does that make sense, guys? With me on that? So the next piece of this digging three whys deep is a lot of times we come up with objections that we have a hard time overcoming. I'll do one objection for you right now because I know it's something we're all suffering from with interest rates. You guys still dealing with that? Interest rates are too high. So I'm gonna give you our what we call rate, RATE. I'm a nerd for acronyms. If you ever follow me on Instagram or you ever jump into our coaching, you'll see acronyms help me remember things. But it helps us identify the true meaning behind it. So if they say, hey, interest rates are just a little too high right now. R, I recognize. When I recognize I don't agree, and I don't stop saying you're right, they are pretty high right now. I wish they get down to the threes. Stop doing that, please. But I want you to understand them. We don't agree, but we understand. Hey, look, totally respect that. Hey, totally get that. I understand. Something that not agree, but understand. Okay. So I want to recognize, hey, totally get that. Then I want to A, which is ask. Let me ask you a quick question. Um, what is it, that would make sense for you to move into this next home or make sense for you to buy that next property? Well, I would like to be in the fives. Ideally. Of course, I don't want to be in the threes, but fives would potentially make it work. And let's be real here. This is the point where most people say, well, is it more about the interest rates or is it more about how much you could pay monthly? Don't get there yet. That's something I want you to get to, but not until you add value. I'm going to stop right here for a second because when we are handling things like this, guys, sometimes we're trying to propose value when they don't see it in us to begin with. We're trying to give them all our knowledge, right? All of our knowledge, which is great knowledge, but it's not the time and place because your opinion, and they don't know, like, and trust you yet, all it's going to sound like is sales. They're hearing it from the news, they're hearing it from their aunt, they're hearing it from their mom. Now is not the time to buy. Now is not the time to sell. And if you, a stranger, are trying to prove them wrong, of people they know, like, and trust, you will have a hard time doing so. So I simply just want to recognize, ask, T is tease. Saying, hey, look, love it. You want be down in the fives. There's actually, definitely some strategies that we could do to potentially get you down to the fives. But I'm not telling them what. I'm not saying, hey, we want to go ahead and do rate buy downs. Hey, we could do refinance later. Hey, we can go ahead and look at building or new builders. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, hey, there's definitely some opportunities out there that potentially would get you down to the fives. But before we even talk about that, E, I want to explore. Tell me a little bit more about how did you start looking in the first place? RATE. I recognize, totally get it. I ask, hey, well, what would it look like for you in a real world to be able to feel comfortable making a move? I tease, hey, look, there's definitely some opportunities potentially that, lenders have different programs and everything we could talk about. And then I E, but before we get into that, let me know a little bit more about why did you start looking in the first place? Exactly that tonality as well, right? Because that's the curiosity tonality. So that's the objection of rate. What I will say to this is that I've noticed a lot of times when we're getting objections, people don't take the time to practice them. And to me, that blows my mind because there's like 7 objections that we get, right? I have an agent. I'm looking for a friend. Rates, market crashing, right? I don't want to sell before I know what I'm buying. Oh, there's like 7 real objections. If you know these objections, how many times do you role play them? Go to Tom Brady. The reason why Tom Brady was so good is because he played every scenario out in practice over and over and over and over again. So when the pressure was on him and that scenario happened, there's ice in his veins because he's done it so many times. When people say they got ice in their veins, you guys ever hear anybody say that? They got ice in their veins, which means like they do something, they hit a big kick, they throw a ball, downfield and a minute left, they make that last shot to win the game, right? Fernando Mendoza, people say he got ice in his veins. That ice is built by time under tension. That ice is built on the practice field. Like the going to that game, that fourth and 5 call where they run the ball in and he scores a touchdown, right? When they could have kicked the field goal. Do you think that was the first time that he's ever done that? Do you think that's the first time? Literally saying that he said, "Hey, we called the timeout because we saw their defense and we saw what they were going to do, and we bet they were probably going to do it again, and we knew exactly what play to call because we've done it in practice a bunch of times." Literally, that's what he said. He said, well, hold on a minute. I called the timeout because I saw that they lined up this way, and I knew that they lined up again like that. This play we've run over and over and over again. We'll be able to get the first down, if not in the end zone. And boom. And I relate to sports and all because obviously, it's a lot easier to do that. But the truth of the matter is if you know your objections coming your way and you're not practicing them, the objection's not the problem. Your dedication to mastering the craft is the problem. Okay. So that is the objection handling. Okay. Next is the closing in tie down. So this is step 6. Don't ask for the appointment, guide them to one. Don't just ask for the appointment, guide them to one. I'm going to go through these quick because I only got about 8 minutes left with you guys. So this is very simple. When we know the time is for the appointment to be set, we just simply say, hey, next step in the process. Look, it's real simple. Let's just have a quick meeting. We want to kind of show you our strategy, but also I want to bring you a list of some hand-picked homes. So what do you think works better for you, Wednesday or maybe Thursday? The important part to this is the next step in the process. There's 2 reasons. One, when we start saying next step in the process, when we know we need to ask for the appointment and we get nervous and we get scared, because that happens to some of us, if we start practicing next step in the process, we know exactly what words to say. The resistance of asking goes down because I know what to do. I know what to say, right? And then we say, I want to show you our strategy. I want to bring something to the table. And the other part to this is we have to make it important for them to show up because setting appointments are cool, but making them show up is a lot cooler, right? So I want you guys to know that sometimes they don't show up for your appointments because you haven't articulated why it's important for them. And I just simply use the words, hey, why it's important for us to meet next time is this. This is why it's important. And it's not about me. I don't say it's important for me, right? I will drop maybe a little bit of something in there, right? So I could do this, but it's so that you can understand the market and you can understand our plan and you can get the confidence that we're the right people that you want to work with. So when you got into appointment, making sure that you have the true clarity to them of why it's important for the next step. Last but not least on this, I love to use a clarity close. It's just something that works very, 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 very well. If they're pushing back and you're not really getting much out of them, it's like, hey, look, I know I'm asking you a lot of questions. Or, hey, I know you're not maybe ready to make an appointment right now. My main thing is I just want to make sure you're the right person with the right strategy for the right time. Does that sound fair? Does that work for you? It's called a clarity close or a logical close. Now, yeah, that makes sense. And then I set the appointment. So appointment and clarity close backed up by it. I'm going to give you guys 3 bonus tips really quick. Any questions, please pop them in there since we only got a little bit of time left. Set a calendar invite the right way. So whenever we set an appointment, we do 3 things for them to increase the show rate. Hey, Craig, do you use a calendar to run your day? Yeah, I do. Awesome. So do I. Not on there, it doesn't get done. What's the best email for that? Maybe I have their email. I don't want that though, because anybody like me in here, the times I sign up for stuff, I'm using a different email address that's not correlated with my calendar, right? So they might have signed up on your website or put information in or put it on the open house that this is their junk one. So I simply ask, instead of saying, let me just confirm, is it john@gmail.com? Hey, what's the best email for that? johnmarone@gmail.com. All right, great. Last but not least, when I send it to you, do you mind just hitting accept so it pops up in your calendar? Yeah, I don't mind. Yes, I use a calendar. Yes, this is my email. Yes, I'll hit accept. Chance of them showing up skyrocket. Next is understand the levels of communication. I'll hit this very quickly. 5 levels of communication and connection. Level 5, email. Level 4, text. Level 3, phone call. Level 2, virtual. Level 1, face-to-face. Why is this important? Because if I'm on a text message, I need to ask questions to drive me to number 3, number 2, or number 1. If I'm on number 3, I never want to take a step back. I always want to set an appointment from the appointment with either the same level, another phone call, or higher up. Okay. Okay, cool. I'll text you and I'll reach out to you in 2 weeks. No, no, no. I want to actually set an exact day and time, but I never want to go back down. Of course, yes, I'll email you some properties, things like that. But our next agreed speaking time has to be either at the same level or you go up a level or 2 or 3. Does that make sense, guys? Drop a yes if this makes sense. Drop a no if you need me to re-articulate it. But we're always trying to move up a level or stay within it. I don't want our next step to be down a level because we know how hard it is to get it back to that. Okay, last but not least, track. You guys have to understand you are running a business. Okay, you're running a business. You're not just real estate agents. Shop at Amazon. I'm sure everybody does, right? Apple, right? Think about the biggest names, the biggest companies. Do you think that they track their numbers so that they can go ahead and figure out exactly what changes they need to make so they can go ahead and get better next time? Real estate agents have to do the same thing. The same thing. Too many agents are sitting there trying to wing it and guess, and no wonder why they're closing 2 to 3 deals a year is because they don't have scalability. Well, they don't have scalability because they're not tracking. And so we need to start tracking money in, money out, effort in, effort out. I'm going to show you guys my tracking system really quick, and I'm going to give you guys some links that I want you guys to click on as well. But first, let me show you my tracking system that we give to our agents. So it's a super simple one. Now, this is the front end stuff. Now, I have other ones that take you from, showings to offers to closings, all that stuff. But if you're not tracking right now, let's just start here. Let's start with effort. So how many dials, how many contacts, how many hangups, how many appointments, the type of buyer or seller, volume, and appointments that are kept. Now, this is an example one, right? So as I come down here, I could look at it and say, okay, from dials to contact, 20% of people of this source, of this lead generation source, are picking up. Okay. From contact to appointment set, I'm getting 50%. Pretty good. Okay. From appointment set to appointment kept, another 50%. Okay. 500,000 gives me 15,000 potential income. This is important because if I talk to Jeff in 60 days, 90 days, and he's like, man, I got this new lead gen. I'm doing open houses, whatever it might be. And I don't know exactly how many people he's talked to or he's seen or he's called. And I don't know how many people he tried to set an appointment with and how many people actually showed up. I can't find the gaps in the system, so he definitely can't. Like right now, I can look at my board. Okay. I need, where am I at here? For the month, 586 dials, 47 people to talk to, 7 appointments kept. Then 3 ready to go. I know exactly for the quarter I need 1,760 calls, 140 contacted, 21% of set, 9 of them to be serious. I know that. Why? Because I track. Can that change? Of course. It'll change with source. It'll change with skill set. It can go up or it can go down. So we talked about self reflection and awareness before. I got to be aware. I got to have self reflection because this is my this is my metric to see where I need to move. Okay, tracking is a non-negotiable, guys. If you really want to run it like a business, if you want the Amazon type of business, right, the scalable business, tracking is where it starts. Okay, tracking is where it starts. Let me just do this one thing for you guys, and then I can answer any questions you have. I'll stay on for an extra few minutes here if needed. Hold on one second. I'm gonna pop my screen up. Last time. There we go. Okay. So if you guys want, would love to talk to you guys outside of this, right? So first off, if you're on Instagram, you could scan that code or just go to Real John Marone. Follow me. I'm always putting tips out there and whether it's motivation, whether it's business, or it's a bunch of pictures of my kids and I. But go ahead and follow me. Ask me any questions you have on there. This second one is if you are serious about coaching, let's have a conversation. Let's see if it's a fit. Let's see what your goals are and where the gaps are and how our coaching could help you. You can scan this code or you could text this number right here that you're interested. Okay, I will tell you it's a very inexpensive investment. It's less than a transaction a year for most of you guys. So I'm just coming out and say it's only $299 a month. Like, so you could do the math. It's less than one transaction a year if we could teach you how to do that. I'm never shy of speaking on our investment terms or anything else like that. Last but not least, you're like, hey, I just want some free resources. I want some trainings. I got sales videos, all those things. Scan this right here, and you can go ahead and get that as well. So first one, follow me on Instagram. Next one, love to talk to you about coaching. If it's a fit, if it's not, hopefully you get some value and you can go ahead and crush 2026. You want some free resources, we have it here. But that's all I got, guys. What do we have? Any questions that you guys have for me? I can stay on until 11:05. So anything you guys got for me?
John, I have a question.
Yes.
Great, great, great training. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Do you, I don't know how to do Excel as well as you had that posted with the percentage and all that. Is there a way we can have a
Yep.
copy of that?
I'm putting my email right in the chat. So if that's really all you want and you just want that, absolutely send it to me and I'll shoot that over for you. Anybody that wants it, just send me that email and we could definitely send it to you. Of course, if you're a part of our coaching, you get it and then we go over it and we track it and we help you obviously make the changes from there.
All right. Thank you so much.
If you want to send that too, when you send me the slides, then I'll make sure that gets attached.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. Such good stuff. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I was writing down what the landmines are, and I missed landmine number 1 and number 3.
Yep. And obviously we'll send it to you, but landmine number 1 is, make sure I have it in the right order for you. Landmines. Hold on one second. Here we go. Landmine number 1 is do not say, how are you doing? And then number 3 is don't have a long introduction.
Got it.
And the last thing I'll say to you guys is that, you know, in your business, just ask yourself, what is it going to take for me to have a better system? Right? My action needs to be there. My follow-up needs to be there. And a lot of us are losing money out the back door because we don't have a system for it. So, and we don't take action because we don't have a clear identification of what the system needs to look like and what the productivity looks like. So it's not that you're not taking action. You just don't have a system that allows you to flow properly throughout your day. So find that system or you could talk to us about it and obviously we could help you as well.
Do you do anything around agent attraction since most of us here are, you know, with EXP? Do you do any, you know, these same things, right? Role play, you know, tracking, all that with
Yeah,
agent
a lot of stuff we do
attraction?
for agent attraction is simply attract, right? And what I mean by that is we'll do value calls, we'll do business strategy calls, or we'll do the webinars, things like that, and then give the opportunity for people to come aboard. Yeah, that's the main thing we do. Some people are out pushing hard. I have a big coaching company. I own 4 companies altogether, so I try to fit that in where I can to make it make sense.
Good. All right. Any other questions, anybody? This was so good, John. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think Ryan's
Yeah.
got something.
Hey John, if we wanted the slides, do you want us to email you directly, or how do you want us to go about that?
So if I'm going to send it all to Kathy, she could send it out to you. But if you guys have any like additional questions that you want to talk to me about, you could definitely either hit me up on Instagram and message me there, or you could email me on that email I put into the chat. And then if you're interested in the coaching, you could text that number as well, and we could talk from there.
Sure, sounds good. Thank you.
Absolutely. And here's the number one more time. Cool. Anything else you guys got? Are you guys ready to rock and roll and dominate? I know fire hose probably a lot of things came your way today, so I just want to make sure that you guys are all good to go. And like I said, anything came after this call, please reach out to me and let me know. We good,
All right.
Kathy?
Very good. Do you want a copy of this recording for yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
That'd be awesome. We'll chop it up and do some reels from it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you again so much. Man, it was just a lot of nugget after nugget after nugget. So I know everybody got a lot. I mean, everyone's putting in here great value, so good, all that. So thanks again, John. Appreciate you. I'll get you the recording later today.
Awesome. Sounds good, guys. I appreciate you guys. Go crush it, and hopefully I'll see you guys someday soon.
Thanks again. All right, everybody. Have a great day. We'll see you next week. Next Tuesday, we will have another trainer. I think what we're gonna be doing is becoming a pro in Canva. So we've got the director of marketing with EXP. She is going to be coming in and teaching us all things Canva, because at EXP you get a free Canva Pro account. So great marketing tool for all your ad creations, for flyers, everything. So that's next Tuesday. All right. See you guys then.
Hey, Kathy,
Yeah.
are you going to automatically send us everything, or do I need to request?
So everything will be in the Freedom Team. Everything will be in the Freedom Team Facebook page. So
Okay,
if you're
thank you.
not there, look it up on Facebook. It's Freedom Team Community is how it's
Okay.
listed. And it's
All right.
Yep. And then we will also have this recording uploaded to our YouTube channel. But the recording with the slides and everything, once I get those from him, and that document we'll have in the Freedom Team community on Facebook. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, guys. Have a great day. Talk soon. See you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everybody.